What's up, guys? It is almost topwater time, topwater frog time. So in this video, I'm going to show you some modifications that I make to my frogs that I fish through the spring, summer, and even through the fall in some cases. So let's dive right on down and look at this. Alright, I'm sorry that the lighting isn't exactly up to par here, but it'll get the job done. So if any of you guys know me, I know I have a lot of friends in the area that watch these videos. You know that I like to whip out a frog and just go crack some fish. I'm not sponsored by a frog company. I don't have a company that does frogs, but there is one that I like a lot out of all the ones that I've ever tried, including the Spros and just all the different kinds, the Strike King ones, all of them. And that is the Booyah Pad Crasher. I've caught some flat out giants over the past 3 years on these frogs. Or 2 years, 2 or 3 years, however long. I fish a whole lot of cypress trees and stuff during the summertime, and it's hard for me to put the frog down. Most days I can't even catch fish on anything other than a frog. Out on the main lake, that's a different story. I'm talking in the backs of creeks, stuff like that. Generally, I'm throwing it after the spawn is over with, but in this case, that's not so much. That's not so much the case. Here's why. Like I said, I'm usually throwing a Booyah frog. I like this color. This is an old one that actually broke after a ton of fish. It caught me a giant gar, too. I'm talking like 4-foot gar. It was huge. My buddy Matthew was there for it. This is the color I'm usually throwing. This is an I think it's called the albino color. It kind of resembles a shad to me, and I fish a lot of shad areas or shad everywhere. So I grabbed this color. But this year, that color's been hard for me to find. The place I got it from no longer sells it, and I'm not making a giant order from Tackle Warehouse just to get a few frogs. I grabbed one of these this time around because I found them. This one is an actual, more of a natural colored frog they make. And this one is actually a little bit different. This one is the mini one, what they call it, the Pad Crasher Junior. It's actually considerably smaller than the regular Pad Crasher frog. And this one actually looks more natural too. And there's a few different modifications you can make to these baits. The first modification is actually the fact that I got the smaller frog. The science behind that is the fact that a lot of times last year, whenever I threw this frog, I was getting fish that weren't quite eating it all the way. They didn't have it in their mouth all the way. I caught a few in a really funky manner without having the frog in their mouth. So I figured I needed to find a way to fix that. The way I fixed that is to get a smaller frog. Smaller area for them to miss. Smaller, it's a smaller profile, but it's still something that they can fit in their mouth just like the regular one, and just a better opportunity, I think, for them to eat it. So like I said, the first modification is getting a smaller frog. I feel like that's really going to help me this year. The second modification is the legs. Whenever they come out of the package, they have pretty decently long legs. It's longer than the actual frog, and that helps it. It kind of helps it make it walk a little bit, I think, in my opinion. And it makes it look a little bulkier, but in this case, I don't want a bulkier bait. I want a smaller bait. So the way that I fix that is I take the skirt material on the legs and I line it up with the line tie. And then I cut down the skirt till it's that length. So it's the length of the frog. Another thing that I do with the skirt is I clip one a little bit longer than the other. Now, say I did this one the length of the line tie, I do the other one just a little bit longer, and on some of them I don't even cut it at all. It helps with the dog motion. With this frog, that's not really a problem because this has kind of they call it a bass boat style frog. It does have kind of like that V like a bass boat does, and You know, it walks pretty good. Skirt modification also helps a little bit. Another modification I make, if I don't think that the lure is loud enough, I fish a whole lot of dirty water, like it looks brown, like cardboard, like almost chocolate milk looking. Okay, so if I feel like they're not seeing it and they're not wanting to eat it because of that, I'll stick a couple of like little BBs in there, like metal BBs from a pellet gun or whatever you want to call it, and that gives it a little bit more of a rattle. In fact, it is a rattle. It's pretty cool. I don't stick a whole lot in there. I stick like 3 or 4. Jason Christie did a video on like Wired to Fish or something, and he stuck just a ton of them in there. It was hard for, I don't even think it stayed on top of the water. I think it sunk a little bit and he had to keep it moving. But he was also tossing it on grass mats, on like Chickamauga or something. I don't really toss my frogs on grass that much. We didn't have grass last year, so I couldn't do it at all. But I'm more open water with this frog. If I was, or maybe not open water, but more filled with like trees, stumps, that kind of stuff, brush piles, bushes, all that fun stuff. That's where I use this. Now, like he said, if I was on grass, I'd probably put more rattles in there just to make it a little bit more enticing, you know, make it loud. So those are some really simple tricks that you can do to your frog. You can do them to any frog. It doesn't matter, I'm pretty sure. Most of them have the opening down at the hooks where you can actually put the BBs in. You might have to bend the hook around a little bit. And we're not done with frogs. We'll talk a little bit more in the next video about frogs. This is my favorite way to fish. I could throw a frog all day. So I want to thank you guys for watching this quick little, well, it might not be quick, but this tips video on some modifications you can make to a frog. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I will see you right here, as if you don't already know, on this channel where my logo is. Actually, I'm going to put it over here, I think. I'll put it on both. Thank you guys for watching. Now.